is my 25th year of airshow flying. Like a lot of people, but not all of them, building and flying model airplanes. And I still do that today, still actively involved with radio-controlled airplanes. They're a lot of fun. Did that, and that interest got my father, into taking me to air shows. And it just one thing led to another. When I was 19, I sold all my models, took flying lessons. Didn't know anything really about a career in aviation or opportunities that existed in aviation. So I decided to get my flight instructor rating to be a flight instructor. Did that, and then obviously the normal progression. I learned what aviation had to offer, became a flight instructor, did the charter, did the air ambulance, corporate, and then got hired with American in 1987. When I got my flight instructor rating, and I thought all of my ratings and expenses were behind me, I started building an airplane, built a pit special, and that was about a 3-year project. Taught myself how to fly it, taught myself aerobatics, which is not what I recommend. But really 25, 30 years ago, you didn't have a lot of options of places to go to learn aerobatics. A lot of people did just kind of teach themselves. They got Neil Williams' book and Dwayne Cole's book, but had some scary moments. I learned to fly aerobatics specifically to become an airshow pilot, which is really the wrong, well, this is a political hot potato in the industry, I'm sure, but I don't think that's the right way to go. And a few of my friends knew better as well, and they challenged me to get into IAC competition. So at the end of my first year of flying air shows, or attempting to fly air shows, I did an aerobatic contest and was bitten by the bug immediately. The competitive side of me really enjoyed it. I did well, and really made a concerted effort to compete and do well in competition. And I did that for probably 15 or 16 years. Worked my way up through Unlimited, was on 2 United States aerobatic teams. The last year I competed, I was in Slovakia at the World Championships in 1998. Placed 3rd in the world. And I figured get out while the getting out was good. And I've devoted myself now to airshow flying exclusively.
Cirrus Design's Vision SJ50 single-engine personal jet offers exceptional fuel efficiency, flexible seating for up to 7, advanced avionics, and all the Cirrus safety features you expect, including the Cirrus airframe parachute system. With its detailed design, the Cirrus Vision is technologically advanced, yet engineered to be simple to fly, to allow owner pilots more lifestyle pursuits than any other personal aircraft. Learn more about the Vision SJ50 at cirrusdesign.com.
My week typically starts on Monday, getting up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, driving to New York and being an airline pilot for 3 days. Get home from that, bags are already packed, airplane's already prepped, go to the airport either that afternoon or early the next morning and go to my air show. And really when I get to the show site is where I collect myself, take the deep breath, kind of go, okay, here I am, now let's get into the air show mode. And I take my Thursdays and my Fridays to, get my head on, get my practice, get my airplane cleaned up, get into air show mode. I hate to say, you don't want to minimize or take anything for granted, but I've been doing it so long, it's easy to get into the air show mode. 2 practice flights, I'm up to speed. Week after week after week. If I go 2 or 3 weeks without an air show, I do make a point of flying my airplane 2 or 3 times a day for a couple days to get back into the mindset and to get the timing back, because everything's so timing based with the routine that I do. Bottom line, air show flying is dangerous, and it's going to be dangerous for the rest of air show history. And I think the trends have always shown that. And I think the other very important thing that trends have shown is there is no trend. It can happen to anybody. Certainly not to name names or disrespect anybody's skills or talents, but the day it really hit home to me that it can happen to anybody is the day Charlie Hilliard lost his life. This is a serious business. Had a real interesting moment out at ICAS. In fact, Russ Pigot's father stood up and gave a talk at one of our safety briefings and explained why he stood down, why he got out of the business. And that really hit home with me. And I thought to myself, gosh, a lot of the things he's pointing out about why he got out of the business are happening to me. And it really made me dig deep and do some soul searching. And what I ultimately did was change my direction in the airshow industry by starting a formation team with Michael Mancuso. And that reinvigorated me. It made me learn something new, study something more, and kind of raise my performance to the next level. I'm back solo now, and I think I've got a new interest in it. I'm approaching it differently. But you just never let your guard down. Every single flight has to be approached as if it's your first and last. I think the initiative, I forget what ICAS is calling it, but the new initiative towards safety, it's a noble, worthwhile effort. Some people are, poo-pooing it, but at least it's something. If it brings the safety to the forefront again, if it saves one life or if it stops one person from scaring themselves, then it's worth it.
Welcome to the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource. Real-time 24/7 online audio and video programming, where aviation has been getting updated for over a decade. Distributing over 11,000 stories, features, audio and video programs every year. Only ANN covers aviation and aerospace with this much depth, insight, and expertise. Check us out on the web at aero-news.net.
Now that I'm with Embry Riddle Aeronautical University, we call it the Eagle 580. It is truly just a CAP 231EX, French airplane, 1,300 pounds, power it with a Lycoming IO 580 Thunderbolt version, which is a custom-built engine specific to customers' needs. And mine's putting out 357 horsepower, and it's turning the Hartzell claw propeller. So it's a good combination. It's an old airplane now. It's 16, 17 years old. It's got about 1,700 hours on it, but it's still a great airplane to fly. I'm always asked what my next airplane is going to be, and I tell them there's no next airplane. This is the airplane that I, want to fly the rest of my airshow career in. As a young up-and-comer, wanting to aspiring to become what I've become, and now that I've become what I've wanted, it's a business, and the gratification isn't as much because it is a job now. And certainly being sponsored by Embry Riddle, that has put it on yet the next level, because now I have the responsibility of representing a very high-profile university, especially within the aviation world. So, I have to mind my P's and Q's a little bit more, and it just put a whole other facet to my business. But at the end of the day, I still do it because I love to do it. It's fun, it's gratifying, and it's exciting and exhilarating. In the airplane, always fun. Some of the peripheral things tend to get challenging. Obviously, booking air shows, selling yourself is one of the hardest things in the world to do. That's the part of the business I don't like, but it's a necessary part. And at this point, again, having been in the industry 25 years, I know most of the people. So anymore, when you call the people up, you know who they are, they know who you are, and it's always nice to catch up with them. And I'm to the point now where I'm doing 12 to 15 shows a year. I don't have to beg for shows anymore. So it's really just a nice opportunity to call people that you've shared a beverage with at the convention and catch up and see how they're doing and try and work a schedule out together. Again, 25 years later, with the exception of a change of who's got the sponsors, we've always had about the same number of sponsors or sponsored performers in any given year. That just the names and the sponsors change, and they come and they go. I have to say the industry is very much the same as it was when I got into it, with the exception of the number of air shows. I don't know if that's good or bad.